Hi folks, it's Adrian Zdunchik, CMT Charter Market Technician, CryptoBurg. Welcome to today's AMA session with our incredible partners. We partner up with Plena Finance, and our today's guest is Sparsh by Noah AI. And Noah AI is one of the very incredible, nice features, nice projects that you can basically get a very good taste on Plena Finance on the platform on the website itself, which is basically designed to help and build better projects on blockchain, right? Because at the end of the day, what we're discussing is there is so much of the AI space. It's such a buzzy term. However, what really comes out of this, right? So we're going to talk about the AI-powered ecosystems for building, for using on-chain apps and making this industry a little bit simpler, better through the means of AI. Did I get that right, Sparsh?
Yes. Yeah.
Very well. And the second follow-up question is how you're doing today, my brother.
Good. How are you?
Very perfect. So much. Thank you so much. I'm very good and very excited simply because, there is, like I said, a lot of talks going on about AI. And it's most of the time a very buzzy term that most of the projects overuse, and there's nothing really coming, following up on it, right? As in, it's typically stated on the website, oh, we are an AI project and so on, but in reality, that does nothing. It is just a buzzy term, right? However, we found it very different with Plena Finance, with Noah AI. So speaking of which, right? No AI, it's something that I personally very much like the name for. So that's a very good explanation for what it is, for what it does. However, for everybody who's just come across for the very first time, no AI Plena, what is it? What it does? If you don't mind repeating it
Sure.
in simple terms.
Sure. So basically, Noah is an AI-powered no-code tool that lets anyone build blockchain application. So the users can build smart contracts with test cases and audit reports with just a prompt, and also the front-end application with just a prompt, which has wallet connect feature. And with a single prompt after that, they could basically link the smart contract with the front-end application.
So what I'm thinking is, who's kind of like the um main beneficent, right? Because like the users are, of course, different. The users can be developers. We can build on a blockchain, we can initiate those apps and so on. However, who is it truly kind of like conceived for? Like, was this specifically designed to be given into access for the builders, for the developers, for the community members, for the projects? If you don't mind, kind of like outlining that.
Sure. So when we started building Noah, it was basically built for developers to speed up the blockchain development for those developers. And but when we started building it, right, we figured out that okay, we could make it so easy that even non-developers could use it. And I would say it's basically for everyone. For developers, let's say if they want to speed up their blockchain development process, right, the product development, they could do it. Or if they want to move their project from, let's say, an EVM chain to SVM chain, right, or let's say from an SVM to EVM or any other chain, they could use Noah for it. And for, I would say, non-developers as well. So since basically it's able to write everything for you, you just need to write better prompts and or even good enough prompts, and it will take care of everything.
Yeah. So that, prompting, of course, is a very valuable tool and skill that then competence as we grow, kind of like, simply because well, see, the whole education system in layman terms, the way we see it is it's kind of like changing, migrating. Of course, we know for the schools to not really be willing to teach too much about the AI. However, in reality, this is the skill of the future, right? Because our job is to nicely communicate with the computers, with AI, especially since it's so broad, so popular, so mainstream. And that skill is something that sets us apart from most of the people who cannot do this, right? So for that, what is basically, vibe coding, right? Which is a term that I think, many people are not yet familiar with, right? I know the vibe, I know the coding, the vibe coding. What is it kind of like in simple layman terms, again, to everybody who's just new to this vibe coding, and how would you explain it? What sort of possibilities does it open up?
I would say vibe coding is basically coding with the help of AI assistant, right? And so it's just basically typing what you want to build, and it will build it for you. And you said like currently, let's say a lot of people don't get what they want to build, right? And like they're not able to build better prompts, right? So just advice for them, they could basically what they can do is they could just go to ChatGPT, create a nice prompt, and use it in OAI, and it will create, I would say, a really good application. So I'll tell you how it is different, right? So for example, if I write create a meme coin launchpad for me, right? It will create a meme coin launchpad with basic functionalities. But let's say if you're able to write, let's say, what all features you exactly want in it, you could basically define that, okay, this is how I want the calculation to be, this is how it should work, and this is how the fee should be charged. And basically you can just create the prompt and give it to it, and it will create a much complex program. And obviously you don't have to go through it. We obviously generate test cases and audit reports as well, so it's basically testing your smart contract on those edge cases, and figures out if there's any security vulnerability with it, so it's able to fix it by itself. And what you just need to do is just get better at prompting. Myself, I haven't written a single line of code. I've been using some other vibe coding tools to build no AI, right? So it's pretty like I just write the prompt, right? Even if I have to change a single line of code, I'll just write a prompt, and then it will fix it for me. I think it's making everyone, I think, a lot lazier. But yeah, at the same time, it's making much more, I would say, the development much more efficient as well, and much more fast paced as well. You could basically build so many things really fast. And yeah, like that's the cool thing about no AI as well. So for the developers, they could basically use no AI to build blockchain applications, pin blockchain applications in just a few minutes, or let's say an hour or two. That could have taken a team of blockchain developers or in development agency a couple of months. So the meme coin launchpad example that I gave you, we were basically paying almost $25,000 in March to a development agency to build that, and Noah is able to build that with build the same for I would say less than $1. And yeah, like with everything basically it with like an audit report and test cases.
That sounds powerful.
Yeah.
$25,000 reduced to just $1 basically, right? For no
Yeah.
AI. That's a big one. What I'm thinking in terms of, like, while I, of course, look up an incredible website, which is very nicely designed, by the way. I'm trying to understand and get a proper context. Like, say, I'm the first newcomer to crypto. It's my first day, right? However, I keep hearing all those basic terms like AI, every project is AI, and so on. And then I come across no AI, and then I come across Plena Finance. So is it really designed for me? Like, what can I build with this from the very ground level without any prior experience, knowing that there is this AI kind of like a agent that's going to help me walk me through the process? Is it for complete beginners, or do you actually have to have a specific level of and threshold of knowledge in order to make a proper use out of this?
I would say it's for complete beginners. It's super easy, right? For developers, I think they will feel much more familiar with it, right? But so the best part is that like I think a lot of people start talking about they talk about Cursor as well, right? They could basically build something with Cursor, and what Cursor does is it basically uses in available LLMs like Claude Sonnet or Claude Sonnet, or let's say it will use GPT-5 or any other LLM. The problem with those LLMs is that they're only trained in coding languages like JS and TS or Rust and other ones, right? And basically, they're able to build Node.js programs, or let's say code that's able to write Node.js or React.js contracts much well, not contracts like code much well, because there are many more developers who are coding on those languages, right? For example, there are I think 50 mil Node.js developers, 40 mil React.js developers, right? So those models are basically trained on those languages, right? But let's say if we talk about blockchain development, the problem with blockchain development is that those models aren't trained well in those because there are less than 40,000 developers. If you look at Tolly's post as well from a couple of weeks ago, he posted that they have 3,200 developers building on Solana. and it's one of the biggest chains, right? The most used chain as of now. So it's just that like those, if you use those models, I guarantee you it won't be able to build anything. I've tried it myself. I think the best one out there, Cursor, I think it can write really good Node.js code or front end code, but it won't be able to write smart contracts. Even to build a single Solana smart contract, it took me one whole day of just installing dependencies. Right, I just put that on agent mode, and it just kept on trying to install a few dependencies, and it didn't work. Right, and what we've done in Noia is that, and no one has to download anything, right? No one has to install anything. Everything is on browser. It takes care of everything, is taken care of on the browser. You just write the code there, like edit it there, and also you can deploy the smart contracts from the front end using your wallet. So we made it super easy for, I would say, non-developers to basically launch anything on chain.
I love it. I love it. It's such a such an easy solution, it seems. I mean, of course, on the backend side it must be very, very difficult to put all those integrations and many different LLMs, just like you mentioned, be it Claude, and so on. However, on the surface it's supposed to be very easy, which is actually the main value, I think, for the users. Me being the user, as I come to crypto, trying to have this outside view, it looks very complicated most of the time, right? When I, for instance, go and advise to celebrities, and then people like, there's like the whole Justin Timberlake crew that I was showing up the crypto and so on. The whole thing is that when they see blockchain, when they hear blockchain, right, it's a toxic word. It's well, toxic word, maybe not so toxic, but it's a well, toxic to an extent that it's, of course, it's media use it, against this leverage, because media say, okay, this Ponzi was built on blockchain, this crypto was hijacked and built on blockchain and stuff. So they know I have a very complex, kind of like blurry understanding of what blockchain is. And then I show them, like, Bitcoin Explorer, Ethereum at Etherscan, for instance, right? And they say, like, this is the every transaction that is basically, just happening in real time and so on. And all of a sudden it becomes understandable to them that it's nothing else but just a public ledger of information.
Yep.
All right. And if we take this simplicity and kind of like help uh, demystify those faulty pictures that I have against the blockchain, against the AI, against the AI blockchain, against the AI blockchain projects and so on, all of a sudden it's aiming to be very simple and very easy for those people who are in the Web 2 to get a whole proper leap into Web 3, so that it doesn't feel like it's complete anything
Exactly.
change,
Yeah.
right? And that note, kind of like, there comes a question. So what truly distinguishes No AI from any other vibe coding platforms? Like, what is the main kind of like a benefit? Is it the simplicity? Is it the layout and so on? Like, what would you say, Sparsh?
I would say, like I said, right. So most of these models, most of these platforms use existing models, right, like Claude and GPT-5 or some other ones, right, which are publicly available. They're not trained in these languages to build on chain, right? And in Noah, we basically use our own LLM. We've trained our own LLM with, I would say, hundreds of smart contracts on every chain, to so that it could write really good production grade smart contracts that you could use. And on top of it, yeah, I really agree with the point that a lot of people do think that building on blockchain isn't a good thing. But honestly, it's a really good thing for building a vibe coding application or a application from starting. Because if you look at these tools like Lovable or Replit or other ones, right, the problem with them is that they build the front end, but they don't build the back end code for you, right? And the thing is, like with the back end code, the problem is that you have to deploy everything on AWS or any other cloud service provider, right? And on top of it, it becomes a really big headache once you start getting users, right? The crazy part is, let's say, like you get, let's say, 10,000 or 100,000 users at a night, and in a night, and your application could crash, right? How blockchain solves this is, it's really good use case for vibe coding tools, because we're able to build the front end, and the back end code sits on the blockchain, right? You just you could build basically however complex code you want to build, and whatever you want to build, and everything is deployed on chain. You don't have to pay for anything after that. Your front end application is interacting with the smart contract application on chain. And let's say you could get a million users or 10 million users in a night, but basically what would happen is the blockchain is taking care of the scaling issue, right? So, and on top of it, you don't have to pay like crazy amount of money when you get a lot of users, right? Because that fee is going to the blockchain. The blockchain is taking care of everything, and this way you are able to build, I would say, a full application, a complete application.
Yeah. So knowing, of course, you can deploy, build, deploy, the smart contracts for it, and then have all the backend kind of like, just like you mentioned, set up and secured, the what comes out naturally, is the potential breaches of those contracts, is the potential breaches and kind of like any loopholes that are so easily hackable, that you see so many of those very nice, fancy, good, standing projects that are basically hacked overnight, and there's the whole kind of like a smart contract just literally hacked, hijacked, and then like the whole project just goes down. So it's knowing that a security and the protection is one of the main concerns for everybody who's in crypto, and again knowing how all complex it may seem on the surface, but how easy you make it seem. Like, what about what about the security layer? What about the protection? Like, how is it secure? How does it make sure from the no AI basically that the contracts that it generates are truly secure, that you can audit them, that they're resistant, to the exploitation and so on. What would you say, Sparsh?
Yeah, that's the reason why we've added test cases and the audit report feature, because we knew that it's really important that we make sure that the code that we're deploying on chain is production ready, I would say, right? And that's why like it writes test cases up to like 15 to 30 test cases for every smart contract, so that it's able to test like if there's any security vulnerability. On top of it, when you generate an audit report from a platform itself, right, you could see if there are any security vulnerabilities that you can make those changes. On top of it, you can even ask Noah AI about how exactly the program is working, and if you need to take care of anything, it will just explain you everything in really simple languages so that you could follow each and every step. And I think that's the most important thing, right? You need to understand how your code is working, right? It doesn't have to be like each and every aspect of it, right? Like how each and every method is working. Maybe you don't even have to go into that much complexity. You just need to understand how basically it's working, so that you understand, let's say for example, if you're building anything, right, how will you charge fee, or let's say how will you withdraw that fees from the smart contract, or let's say if you want to change something, you can basically update the smart contract itself as well. On top of it, we definitely like we care about the security. So what we've done is we've partnered with a lot of audit firms: Hacken, Peck Shield, Quill Audit, Sokio. And whenever you generate an audit report, you'll see those audit partners there, and you can just click on any one of them. It will redirect you to their website or the POC there, and they'll give you a much better discount when you go via us using our referral link. And you can get your smart contracts audited after you've received funding, because the problem is the contract audits are really expensive, right? So I think the best thing is you just build a project, let's say use the audit report on from Noah, and launch it on DevNet or testnet, get your community, raise some funds, and then go to audit firms to get your contracts audited, because these contract audits could take somewhere around like 50 to 100K, or even more than that sometimes, right? Depends on the complexity and the length of the smart contract. So obviously you won't do that initially. So, and even when the audit report comes back and you think that okay, I just need to fix a few things, you can just pass it on to NuAI and it will fix the code for you if there are any audit, like if anything comes up in an audit report.
Got you. Got you. It sounds very simple, right? And one of the main kind of like benefits that I saw, is kind of like using the agent AI powered crypto super app, just like it, states right there with Plena AI, and all the integration with no AI, how it all kind of like integrates as part of this one and the same ecosystem, so to speak, is the simplicity that I would see and expect exactly from blockchain as we are in 2025. As in, you can literally talk to an AI assistant just like you would, to change it to ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever else, and basically ask them to execute anything that is also on the blockchain, right? And that all kind of like comes with all those integrations, with the kind of like having everything centralized but decentralized at the same time, right? So having decentralized centralization, if that makes sense, that's what comes up, I should say, compensates for all the difficulty when it's easy on the surface, just like Plana and no AI kind of like make it be. However, looking ahead, how does no AI aim to replace the developers, right? Is there any particular drive that you say, okay, we want to reduce, we are on the mission to reduce the developer count by like 90% through our means of AI, through our means of no AI, through whatever happens on the whatever our users expect us to be, we're going to build it with 90% less of the cost, less expenditures, hence we can reinvest more in the project and so on. Like what's the plan looking ahead, so to speak?
I would say we just currently we're just partnering up with more chains, right? So we just want to allow users to build anything on chain, right? So as I said, like there are very few developers in the space, so it becomes a really big problem or challenge for a lot of users to build anything on chain, even if they have let's say funds. Let's say like even if they have $10,000 or $20,000, the issue is that just to find out that right, let's say development agency or developer that could build this, right, build their idea. And it was one of the things that helped us initially with Plena, because let's say I'm sure a lot of people got idea about account abstraction or the tech that we were building. The only reason they weren't able to build that because there weren't many developers in the space that could build that, right? And like that's why we were able to build that. But I think our main goal right now is just to simplify the blockchain development for them, because it becomes very difficult or for a developer from, let's say, any other space, let's say someone who is a Python developer or JS developer, to come in Solana ecosystem and build anything. It will require them, let's say, 2 3 months of training or like learning about how everything works on that chain. So we just want to reduce that time. We just want to simplify like the development for these community users as well, right? So basically who are loyal to that particular chain, right? Let's say the loyal community members, they trust that chain, they believe in that project, they could build anything on that or build anything or launch on that particular chain. So we don't want to reduce the number of builders or developers. We basically want to make every single community member a developer using no AI.
Got you. Got you. I love it so much. And, what I truly appreciate and admire about you, Sparsh, is that you condensate so much information into very short communicates. Very, very efficient in the way you communicate. So, that shows a lot of good leadership and a lot of good efficiency also on the project side. So well done on that. And before we get closer to the wrap up today's session, because it's aimed to be just a pill of the information, and well, you have this talent, so I'm taking you up on this to keep things difficult things very simple. I'd love to get a little bit of the kind of like a final thoughts in terms of what's the next big thing that you're looking to the most. Is it the development of the no AI and how it kind of like prospers? Is it the actual adoption that you steer, or is it something special that from within no AI you're going to launch in the next couple of days, weeks, months?
Currently, we're just like working on a few things. We're just improving the UX a little bit more. So just a few more things, like for example, when users were building or deploying smart contracts, right? They had to store their contract address. We thought that okay, a lot of people would understand that, but we thought we figured out that okay, some of the users don't understand that, right? So we've made it even easier. So whenever you deploy a smart contract, it gets deployed, it gets saved in the database. So you can basically, when you click on which smart contract that you want to integrate, right? You can just click on that and it will start integrating it itself. So that's really cool. And we're also launching Plena Agent that will take care of everything for you, right? So it will just keep on like writing code and testing everything. And on top of it, I think if there is anything wrong with the smart contract, or let's say the front end integration, right? Let's say if you link the smart contract with the front end, and let's say one button isn't working or some data that it's being shown on the UI isn't correct, so it will basically fix everything by testing out everything first. So that's one of the features we're pretty excited about. And obviously we are partnering up with a lot of chains. A lot of chains reached out to us, and when they saw what we're able to do, and yeah, we're just pretty excited to launch on those chains now.
Mm. Very well on. I wish you a lot of luck as well. No, not only because I'm investor, we have the stake. We're dear partners to you, and appreciate and admire what you're doing with Plena Finance and with No AI. I think there's been a lot of incredible work behind the scenes. And from my end, before we go, we definitely want to make sure that you guys are following Plena Finance at Plena Finance. As simple as that. Plena, simple, short, crisp term, right there with a beautiful golden check mark. So beware of any impersonators. Always double check. Always do your own research in terms of making sure that you don't fall short, don't fall the trap, of impersonators. I myself have a lot of impersonators, which we know is how easy is to bribe people into thinking that you're talking with the very project, with the very people, with the founders, and so on, and lose money this way. So I definitely encourage you guys to make sure that you're following them, and since you want to follow the right account, I highly encourage that you guys click on the notifications button. So hit the notifications on. And well, what I would love to say is that I truly admire and appreciate your time, Noah, Sparsh, on the Noah AI kind of like explanation, because very simple on the surface, right? That's exactly what you make it be. Very difficult on the back end side, so to speak, what lays beyond the surface or below the surface is exactly what the whole blockchain is, right? So we're hiding the highly efficient technology, basically, of making sure that everything works autonomous, fast, efficient. It's registered on the blockchain, it's integrated with the whole decentralized finance, so to speak. It's a whole powerhouse built on top of a blockchain, while you actually make it very, very simple and then convenient to use, not only for the developers, not only for the builders, for project deployments, but also for the regular people. And so that's something that I truly admire, and I think it's very commendable. And that said, is there anything else, like a golden line, golden takeaway that you leave our listeners and viewers live for today's part?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. But yeah, I think if you ever wanted to build something on chain, just try out No AI. Just try with a single prompt. I think you would love it. It's the easiest tool out there to build on chain, and I would say the best one as well for now. So, but yeah, just give it a try.
Beautiful. Very well. Call to action, Plena.finance. I highly encourage you guys to go and check it out. And well, I'm very happy for the partnership, very happy for all the admiration that also community has been giving you, because we are basically talking about, more than 300,000 people. It's more than 362,000 people as we speak. Like, good luck fitting all those people in one room. It's going to be a hassle. Though nothing is impossible through the means of AI. So that's that statement, everybody, something I want to leave you with today. I've been your host, Adrian Zunchik. CMT and Sparsh Brian from Noah AI, from Plena Finance, has been our incredible guest today. Thank you so much for your time, Noah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sparsh. Thank you to Noah AI. Thank you for the collaboration, to Plena Finance, all the incredible people right there. And well, Noah AI, Plena Finance. It seems the future is bright. Thank you so much.